Russia is believed to be finalizing its transfer of nuclear weapons to its neighbor and close ally, Belarus. The country's leader, Alexander Lukashenko, recently walked back remarks that he wouldn't hesitate to use the nuclear weapons if necessary, saying he was confident there would never be a need. Now, the mixed message is little comfort to Belarus's neighbors.
Belarus's leader, Alexander Lukashenko, takes possession of a nuclear weapon in miniature form. The replica of the first Soviet nuclear bomb made in 1949 was a symbolic gift from Belarus's defense minister. It comes as Russia begins handing over some of its real warheads to its most loyal ally.
The more time passes, the more we are convinced that we should have nuclear weapons in Belarus in a safe place. And I am sure that we will never have to use them while they're in our possession. The enemy will never set foot on our soil.
Lukashenko discussed details of the plan with Russian President Vladimir Putin at a meeting in the Black Sea resort of Sochi last month. A week later, Putin said the deployment of the tactical weapons was already underway.
The first nuclear missiles have already been delivered to Belarus. They're only the first ones. It's only the first batch. We will finish the job by the end of the summer.
The stationing of nuclear warheads in Belarus has alarmed the country's western neighbors. Poland, Latvia, and Lithuania are all NATO members. The deployment will be high on the agenda at NATO's summit in Lithuania next week. Belarus's leader Lukashenko says he only wants peace. But many in the West believe it's his more powerful neighbor, Russian President Vladimir Putin, who's calling the shots in Belarus now.
And we're joined now by Elena Sokova. She's the executive director of the Vienna Center for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation. And she joins us from the Austrian capital. Good to have you with us. So Russia deploying tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. What danger could this pose?
Well, first of all, a few days ago, Lukashenko boasted that some of them have already been moved to Belarus. I wouldn't read too much into his words. It's probably just boasting. But in terms of dangers that these weapons pose, first of all, Belarus is closer to the NATO borders than Russia. And second, that means that the flight time of the either bombers or the missiles are closer to the territory. Having said that, Russia has weapons that could reach that territory from Russia anyway. I think that the real danger probably is in a possibility of an escalation between NATO and Russia. And at that moment, probably these weapons would mean a little bit more than currently.
Is that escalation that you just mentioned, is that what Vladimir Putin is after?
We don't know whether he's after that or not, because the whole stationing of weapons in Belarus is more about signaling to the West and continuing, kind of reminding and putting even more emphasis that the Russia could use nuclear weapons if NATO starts the direct engagement with Russia.
And what is Lukashenko's role there? Because he says that he would have a veto over any use of the tactical nuclear weapons that Russia is stationing on his territory. Does he really have a veto right?
Well, that is hard to tell. But Lukashenko have been going from telling that he would have a right to use them, he will have control, which is completely untrue. I doubt Russia would ever allow Lukashenko to be in control of the weapons or for that matter. But I would suspect that Russia would have both the control and the decision-making. Of course, they may engage Lukashenko, but I'm sure that we're not there yet, at least for the moment. And what Putin said is that they are transferring the nuclear missiles which is different from transferring the nuclear warheads themselves.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Elena Sukova, Executive Director of the Vienna Center for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation from Vienna. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.